700 million Africans rely on small-scale agriculture for their food and income. That is 70% of the population of the continent. Shifting seasons now threaten that existence, and today's school-age children offer the perfect entry point for transformation. Despite heavy reliance on small-scale farms, farming is seen as a last resort for many families who now see jobless cities as a chance at a better life. Rural-urban migration is exacerbated by climate change as success on the land becomes more and more difficult. What is needed is a vessel to reverse the trend, a vehicle to transport a life-giving message that may be deposited in the hearts and minds of vulnerable communities. A message and a method that would allow Africa to take pride in her farmers, who in turn would take their place, make a profit, and transform their nations.
I'm Mr. Daniel Msumba. I'm from Wange, District Matabele North Province. I'm a head of a school. I've had experience of Foundation for Farming last year when 2 of my members of staff were invited to attend a course. I've observed what they've done. The results are amazing.
My name is Mrs. Chidarikire, the head of Madziwa Rural Primary School in Shamba district of Mashonaland Central. I have loved Foundations for Farming because it has brought light to the school, especially on food production.
They told us about how we are supposed to conserve soil. At first I thought they were joking. I thought they were lazy when they told me about the minimum disturbance of soil. When they told me that you are supposed to just scratch the top, you don't dig very deep, I became suspicious. Now that I'm here, I'm very happy. I've learned the right things. I now know that mulching is very important.
The first thing I did was to change the attitude of my teachers. I trained my teachers to accept this. The SDC, since they are the custodian of school funds. After that, we gave them a go-ahead. The way they were doing it actually inspired me and even motivated me to give them all the support that they wanted.
I just want to thank Foundation for Farming for empowering the community of Zvarasekwa and also empowering the teachers at this school.
You ten, nothing.
Foundations for Farming is a Zimbabwean organization that was birthed 30 years ago to teach small-scale farmers to farm sustainably and make a profit from the land. The Foundations for Farming method is based on 4 principles: on time, at standard, without wastage, and with joy.
On time.
On time. Timing plays a critical role on any farm. This is especially true in southern Africa, where there are marked dry and wet seasons, and few small-scale farmers have access to irrigation. Beginning preparations and planting on time plays a major role in the success or failure of any farming activity.
At a very high standard.
At standard, doing things to a high standard on the field is vitally important to raising the profile of farming as a career. High standards also translate into high efficiency and productive utilization of the available land and resources. This allows a farmer to achieve higher yields and turn a profit from his land. Foundations for Farming teaches farmers to plan as with any business activity. This process restores pride and dignity to the laborers of this important industry, which is a fundamental building block of any nation. When men and women become faithful with this first resource given to any nation, the land becomes fruitful, and communities begin to grow, and nations begin to experience life. This process must begin with the soil.
Without wastage.
Without wastage, rain, soil, and sunlight are vital ingredients to the productivity of farms. Part of the faithful stewardship and taking ownership of the resources farmers have available to them means not wasting these precious commodities. Perhaps more so than any other business, farming is tied to the law of diminishing returns. This means that we cannot simply extract a harvest from the soil endlessly without returning nutrients and inputs to ensure its fertility. After the harvest, there should be no burning. Rather, the crop residue and dry stalks are laid down and used to protect the soil from erosion, compaction, and drying out by the elements. Correct soil management techniques are simple and easy to employ. They begin with the farmer being inspired to take a leadership role in his or her own life. The beauty of this simple method and the message of hope that it communicates to rural farming communities in Africa is that if you do any business activity in good time to a high standard, without wastage, the product is joy, and invariably you will make a profit.
With joy.
On time.
On time.
At very high standard.
Without wastage.
With joy.
One of the most important components of the Foundations for Farming teaching is that farming is a 12-month-of-the-year job. Most small-scale farmers think that because they can only grow something 4 months of the year, that farming is a 4-month job, and the rest of the time is spent on other activities. This is poor planning, and means that a farmer will never be able to plant on time because there is too much preparation to be done. The farmer will not be able to produce crops at a very high standard because high standards require careful groundwork, and he or she is unable to meet the third principle of doing things without wastage because they are already wasting time.
We have gained a lot. We have learned a lot. We learned how to build a compost so that we might not buy fertilizer. A lot of people spend money buying fertilizer, but as we have learned, we learned how to make a compost, and we also learned how to farm.
Here at Varasekwa, we are doing a very wonderful job. Basa ratakadzidziswa neve foundation and farming, and it is a very great basa ratakawana. Tapatakaenda ku training. We thought it was a difficult thing, but when we came, we tried our level best to implement what we were taught.
My name is Onward Mandevu. I am the head of education at Kansanchi Foundation in Zambia. I hold a PhD in training and development, and I've been doing development work for the past 15 years and providing leadership training for the past 8 to 10 years. With that kind of background, I didn't think that there was a whole lot for me to learn from today's session on leadership. But I want to say to you that I am highly touched and humbled by the approach to leadership that has been taken in delivering leadership training to us. It touches the very tenets of how to get results. And I really think that if we spread the leadership training on that foundation, the technical content of agriculture we are trying to deliver will find the fertile soil in which to germinate.
Up here at Tafara Primary School, starting this season. We managed to have a very good crop from our garden, and it's feeding our kids. We have some orphans here whom we are helping with a crop that we harvest from our field. And it's proving to be very efficient in terms of yield. We have harvested a very good yield here. The community has also got interested. We're having parents coming to take up the initiative, parents coming to take up the idea from us. We are teaching a lot of people. We have a complement of about 50, plus or minus 50 teachers here. We've also taken up the initiative. They are interested in getting the seed. We hope will come and buy the seed for them as we've taught them the idea. People are really for it. So many people are excited, even the kids from grade 4 to grade 7. We have most kids who are doing it at their homes, who are teaching their parents about this project, about this initiative. So we thank you, the CA guys. We thank you, Foundation for Farming. We thank you, COMESA, for bringing this initiative to us. We're really embracing it. And we hope with more practice and more practice, we are going to improve our yields. We thank you so much.
You know, when you start a project, sometimes you face challenges. Some resisted, but as time went on, Wakaita geared in. We worked together very well. Even the ancillary staff, that one is number one. They did a very good job, those guys. We were working with them. Kwese plus even ku nutrition garden. Ku nutrition garden, Takadzidisa vana the whole school from ECD up to the grade 7. Each class in embedda wayo ku nutrition garden. We planted at first we planted rape, tomatoes, butternuts, and lettuce. At first we takakohwa zvakanakisisa mvura isati yanaya. Pakazonaya mvura zvinhu zvedu zvakaafektwa nemvura zvikaora. But nevertheless we got something because we sold this to the teachers, even to the community. We got about $100 for that, and then it was a good one. And some of the things that we got, we gave the unprivileged ones. Varobika pana papa pachikoro, vana vanobikirwa pachikoro, takavapa zvimwe kuti vabike vadye. Sometimes when we have some funerals for our colleagues and some community, taiva tinotema muriwo tichivaendesera. So we are saying, Foundation for Farming, you did a very good job for us. Everyone now is well equipped. We can now plant our own things using your method, which is easy. We don't need to have plows or what to dig using physics. We just prepare our land and then mulch, and then we measure the gardens, the beds, as you taught us. Everything is in that we use. We use the pamphlets that you gave us. They are so wonderful. They are so educative. We are just following everything that you taught us, and we are just teaching nearly everyone. The children, they can now do that. The parents outside there, they can now do that. For instance, myself, I stay outside Dzivarasekwa. Some of my neighbors, they can now do that because I also taught them the same thing. So we are saying the conservation way that you taught us, it's really working. It's not working today. It's working today, tomorrow, and many, many years to come. Because you are even teaching the ECD children that will come maybe after Tatokura, Tatuchembera, as if we were on the ground, using the same method that you taught us. It is really good. We are saying the teachers, at first, they resisted the project, but now they are in it. The head, even, we can say the head, when I say teachers, we are including the head. You know, we faced some challenges when we came with this project. Maricha yairamba kubuda. Asi, vakaona tikafighta tichingovataurira. And we think, Madam Consilia, I got a chiuya and now and then, even telling them what we must do. Vakazvigamchira. You know now, they are in it. We are working together as a staff. This thing is not for us only. It's for us, teachers, children, and the community as a whole. Not here in Dzivarasekwa only. Even where we stay, we try to teach our neighbors what we do here. I thank you. I'm saying everything that we did, it was from you guys. It was really good. You taught us my life skills. Anotibatsira muupenyu. Hazvina basa kuti hauna gejo rokurima. Hazvina basa kuti hauna tractor yokurima. Kana une badza chete, you can feed your family with one plot. Yepfumvudza plot. Vana vanodya the whole year. So we are saying this is good. Keep on doing the good work. Keep on teaching nearly everyone in the world. Everyone is going to guta. Munhu wese achaguta. Thank you so much, guys. God bless you.
The longest day of the year in southern Africa is always the 22nd of December, which means that the optimal planting date is the 27th of November, to ensure that the maize plant is at a suitable stage in its growth to gain the maximum benefit from the highest number of heat units available in the year. Planting must take place on or before the 27th of November. Farmers are taught to not burn organic materials. This includes grass, vegetable byproducts, unwanted vegetables and leaves, weeds, and most especially dry crop residue, which can even be stored during the dry months to prevent livestock from eating it before it is used to make compost or returned to the field as mulch ahead of the next planting season. In order to meet the needs of vulnerable farming communities, it is important to provide a simple, cost-effective alternative.
And for this year, number one, the big mistake which I did is I did a late planting. So this year, I want to do things in time, like what they said. I didn't even put some manure or even some fertilizer, but the yield, I was so happy. So if you do things in time, the right way, nothing will stop me from getting the best results. Nothing will stop me from that. Standard, without waste, with joy. That's excellent. With joy, and you know what, as the last thing, without waste.
The plight of small-scale farmers in Africa and the potential that lies in the rugged fields of this continent is the target of COMESA's climate-smart intervention. Traditional agriculture locks farmers into dependence on expensive fertilizers that are financially unsustainable. Those that are able to access fertilizers often waste them by broadcasting instead of applying to each individual planting station, and so need to be shown how to utilize fertilizers more effectively. The Pumfudza pack, available for sale to all trainees at just $50 and given to every school in the program, includes a small amount of fertilizer and enough seed to plant just 52 lines of maize on an area of 32 meters by 16 meters, or 1/16 of a hectare. This area is small enough for a single family to prepare, plant, and maintain at a high standard. If the teaching is followed and the training implemented at standard, as it was in a number of the target schools, it is quite easy to obtain one 20 kg bucket per line. One bucket is the average amount of maize that a family of 6 requires to feed itself every week. With 52 lines of maize per plot, a family of 6 can feed itself for 1 year with $50 and 1/16 of a hectare. Truly, this is good news for the farmers of Africa and the myriad of communities in the region that are net food importers.
Because you have everyone who will know that you are a farmer. You'll be a top person in Zimbabwe. You can travel abroad and teach some of other people so that they can know how to learn.
If you can see there at our gardens, we have a lot of crops, vegetables and whatever. They taught us how to defeat drought. Now in this year there is no more drought because they taught us how to conserve ourselves in many things. If you can see this plot is named the Pumfudza plot. It is very big cobs of maize. They taught us how to make a compost and many things. If you can look there, they taught us how to crop rotate many things. We have all crop rotation and they taught us the principles of conservation and agriculture. They taught us that there is our standard with joy and many sort of things. I want to thank you.
My name is Mrs. Nyandiro. I am a teacher at Restaven Primary School. I'm here to thank COMESA and Foundations for Farming for the knowledge they have imparted on us. We have learnt a lot. about conservation agriculture. We have learned what conservation agriculture is. We are doing very well. If you look at our Pumbuza plot, there are healthy crops there. We have learned about the rotation of crops and why it is important to practice crop rotation. We have learned that crop rotation helps to do away with pests and diseases. We have learned that crop rotation will also help to gain the soil will also gain fertility, especially if we rotate crops like if we rotate leguminous crops. When we put another type of crop where there have been leguminous crops, we know that the soil there would have gained fertility. We have also learned about traditional ways of controlling pests. Now we are not spending a lot of money trying to buy pest controls, but we are using those traditional ways of controlling pests, and we are doing very well. If you go to our garden, down there to our garden, we have got different types of crops there in the garden, and they are healthy. The crops are healthy. We just want to thank them because they've done a lot to us. Our community now, people are enjoying, people are happy in their families because they now have crops to eat. They now have the knowledge to plant the crops. Long back they used to plant crops but harvesting nothing. But now with this conservation agriculture, people are harvesting quite a lot and they are glad that they have the knowledge.
Then this knowledge has also enabled me to, when I go back to my school and to Chipinge district, we'll be able to carry out workshops and we will be also able to supervise my staff members on how best and also increase their knowledge on how best we could improve our yields, since we'll be sharing skills because we'll be now at the same level. Of late, we weren't at the same level. But as of now, I'm really empowered indeed to go back and transform the farming methods which were being done by my community as well as by my school.
My name is Ninyasha Manyenga. My school is Tarasoka 4. I like Foundation for Farming because it teaches us many things. If you learn agriculture, you have money and...
Kuuya kwatakaita pano pachikoro tichiona goho rakaitwa pano pachikoro patafara 1 primary rakava goho rakatikwadza zvakanyanya. Vana vakadzidziswa kurima kuriko mazuva ano kuti vave nemarimiro akanaka atakadzidziswa kuburikidza neFoundation of Farming.
Africa has always been steeped in mystery and adventure, exploration and danger. It has long been seen as the dark continent. Africa has 1/3 of the world's natural resources and only 1/10 of the world's population. Yet Africa accounts for less than 3% of global GDP. In the rugged majesty of this wild land, hope grows. It bursts from the ground each season and smiles at the sun-soaked days. Hope is a healthy crop to harvest, and the warmth of a family fire at night. Hope grows in the fields of Africa, and life is in the hands of her farmers, young and old.